Hey, good morning. I first want to say thank you so much for the um, incredible compliments and comments on my music. It means a lot. And it is like therapy for me. On the last song, I used my electronic drums and a click track. So I kept very, very simple just so I didn't branch out. It's a process that I do recording the music first and then adding the drums kind of limits how much I can step out of that on the drums and make it still sound full and tight. I can, though. I just have to work on it. But what I really want to talk about is the introduction of new media and inventions into society. So I've been reading and studying Marshall McLuhan, and he absolutely a genius, and stick with me on this. So every time there's a new invention or new media introduced into society, there are consequences that aren't known when it's introduced. Okay, so we're going to specifically talk about media, but it could be cars, airplanes, anything like that. But we're going to talk about media, being radio, TV, computer, mainly. Because these are exceptionally influential. Also, the moving picture. So we're going to say, because the moving picture is different than TV. And it's taken me a little bit to understand this. But a movie is more, you take it in as more of an experience. Okay, but I'm not going to get out of context here. But I think you're going to find this very interesting, so please stick with me on this. It's kind of a leap from conditioning, that's very powerful and very simple. The introduction of radio, well, we're going to say radio first, was a move from the visual, and before the moving picture, you pretty much just had books, right? Or you had daily life or whatever you're doing, so your level of concentration was always enhanced. Your audio stimulation was far less. See, I'm saying far less because I'm comparing it to today, right? I think of the moving picture, yeah, because it would have been silent, okay? So it's almost like capturing the dream world. The moving picture being like silent movies, right? So you go back to the 20s, I'd have to look, kind of capturing the dream world in a sense. So really, like, okay, the discovery on this is amazing, you guys. You stick with me. This is amazing. Okay, so the radio's created, and the radio is so influential and so powerful. I mean, just think of what took place. The level of influence in all aspects of life, completely changed. What's next? Well, you combined the moving pictures with the sound, and then you have TV, Now, TV became different because shows, you would have a situation where the viewer would be more involved, because in moving pictures you're not as involved. You may be taking it in, and it's like watching a dream state, on a bigger picture, right? But then all of a sudden you have it in your living room with your family. You're involving your friends and family, and you're watching TV. And like I was saying in one of my last videos, where, like today or even back then, you have the announcer talking to you, like he's involving you, which is different than a movie. Because a movie, when you watch a movie, how often does an actor talk to you as a viewer? See what I mean? So that's the important difference. So TV becomes very, very influential. Oh yeah, propaganda, that's what I want to say about radio. I'm trying to think of the word. Propaganda. Okay. So radio brings propaganda, right? When before that, you had newspapers, okay? So you had propaganda, but you took it in, you had to read it, and you had to understand it, and you had to criticize it, and you had to, it's different now because you watch the TV and it just flows information at you, and you just, you take it in and you understand some, and you don't understand what you don't want to understand. You don't listen sometimes, you only listen to what you want to. Reading the newspaper, you have to read and you have to understand it. That's very, very key. Stick with me on this. This is super important. Time progresses, okay? You have the influence of the TV. So anybody that's in their 40s or 50s, we were influenced by TV immensely. It actually, when I'm seeing that what some might say were only negative effects were not only negative effects, because what it did is actually it took you into a creative place too. So it takes you into your imagination, and it helps you to think, to be imaginative and creative, but it takes away your focus and your concentration that you have to have when you read something, right? As time has gone on, I don't want to lose my train of thought because this is so involved. So with each new invention or media introduction, the consequences, and I don't want to just say consequences, but yeah, it works because there's a lot of positives. I'm not just railing on negatives, but the introduction, say, of the computer, of the personal home computer, and you have video games. So to me, video games fall into this exactly, right? So the computer existed and the TV, so through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then video games were created. Video games are, they capture your imagination, really capture your imagination, critical thinking. I remember playing Atari games and Dungeons and Dragons, the most simple little bleeps. It was as if in my imagination, it was way, way more going on. It was like games from 2012 in my imagination or something, right? Anyway, okay, so you can see what I'm saying. So the creation of a media introduction into society has consequences and propaganda and all that, so it can be used in negative form. So now I'm just going to move way ahead, okay? Because the cell phone is the introduction, but what's interesting is it feels like a mass experiment. It always has, but now I understand it. So there's people that understand that this has so many consequences, and they don't even really know where it's going, right? But the cell phone is the combination of everything. It's a combination of TV, it's a combination of radio, it's a combination of photography, it's a combination of, you even have home recording. You can do, what can you not do on the cell phone that's in media almost? Play video games? It's a combination of everything. We're living in a time where there is a reality show host running the country. So you put it all in perspective. It's like how he even became president is because of shows, because of nobody would even know who he is. without the TV, really. I mean, unless you're reading like the Wall Street Journal, that's about the only way you would have like found out about, or whatever. Like, I'm just saying if there was only newspapers right now. But because of entertainment, because of TV, because of the reality show, that's why we're in the state we're in. It doesn't matter of an intelligence. It matters of the image that he presented. The people that really grasp on to whatever crap that a presidential candidate talks, they get through different sources. And his image is of success. His image is of, like, the American dream, right? False promises. So that's why one of my last posts on Facebook, I felt like the very last real invention relating to something humans has come from the brain, right? I mean, now the computer is like the brain, handheld brain. So many things have already been invented. What is left? It's only the creating something more computerized, something more automated. This leads me to imagine that no matter what we do, the future of automation is the natural path. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. It's the process. It's the natural human process. So somebody that screams against, this or that being automated is screaming onto their cell phone. They don't realize it's like, you're already part of it. You're already part of it. So in all of this, we became more of an acoustic awareness than visual. So now we're in this, like, you're on your computer or you're on your cell phone and you think you're being visual, but you're not. You're not being as critically visual as is important, because reading and understanding something you read, just try to read 10 pages out of a book. If you don't understand the 10 pages, then you have to work on that. We're in a world where the cell phone is unbelievably powerful. We have a talk show, reality show host as president. And it came out of this. It came out of this TV world that we were introduced in the 50s, and gradually. And it actually took the introduction of the cell phone for him to be president. Because without the introduction of the cell phone and having video on the cell phone, I don't know if a Donald Trump would have become president. But that doesn't matter, because we're in the state that we're in. So it's more understanding. It doesn't matter if you like something or dislike something, or, see, that's what you have to step out of. The real intelligence is critically understanding in detail how you're influenced by what's around you, by all the media,